হ্যালো গাইস, আজকে আমরা ফেরত চলে এসেছি গানশিন ইম্প্যাক্ট খেলতে, যেখানে গাইস আমাদের ফন্টেইন আর্কন কোয়েস্ট চ্যাপ্টার 4 অ্যাক্ট 5 ম্যাসকারেড অফ দ্য গিল্টি, সেইটাতে গাইস আমরা দুটো সাব কোয়েস্ট অলরেডি শেষ করে ফেলেছি। আর থার্ড সাব কোয়েস্ট যেটা হচ্ছে হান্টার্স প্রফিটস, সেইটা আমরা আজকে কন্টিনিউ করতে চলেছি গাইস। সো লেটস বিগিন। তো গাইজ একটা জিনিস আমাদেরকে আগে করে রাখতে হবে, দ্যাট ইজ আমাদের কিন্তু একটুখানি ব্যাপার হয়ে আছে, সেটা হচ্ছে আমাদেরকে একটা ক্রাফটিং টেবিল খুব জলদি খুঁজতে হবে। সো আর্কন কোয়েস্টে কন্টিনিউ করার আগে গাইজ আমরা একটু ক্রাফটিং করে নেব। সেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের কনডেন্সড রেজিনগুলোকে কনভার্ট করে রাখবো এখনই। একবার চেক করে নেবো কনডেন্স রেজিন আমাদের হাতে কতগুলো জমে গেছে। সেটা হচ্ছে 4টে গাইজ। এটাকে গাইজ খরচাও করতে হবে আমাদেরকে, আর প্যাসেজেস প্যারাসোল এটাকেও আমাদেরকে ইউজ করে নিতে হবে যাতে আমরা ব্লু প্রিন্টটা শিখে যাই। ওকে, আর ব্যাটল পাসে গাইজ কি দাবি হয়েছে, আমাদের ব্যাটল পাস লেভেল এখন 38, সেটাও খুব ভালো কথা। আর মেলে গাইজ ঢুকেছে আমাদের কাছে কি নিউ আউটফিট। কে ভাই? একটা গেট ফ্র্যাগমেন্ট আর হচ্ছে আউটরাইডার্স চ্যাম্পিয়ন স্টেক ক্লেম করে নেবো গাইজ। নতুন আউটফিট ঢুকছে সবার, যা বুঝতে পেরে গেছি, কিন্তু সেটার আগে চলো আমরা চলে যাই তাহলে মরমোনিয়াতে। Guys, going back to our Archon quest, আমাদেরকে নিউভিলেটস অফিসে যেতে বলেছিল, সেখান থেকে আমরা একটু এদিক ওদিক যাব। আর গাইস এইবারে ড্রামাটা অ্যাকচুয়াল শুরু হতে চলেছে।
You're here, finally. Is
Kano,
something
boss?
wrong? Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Furina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please go see for yourself.
মানে ড্রাগন আর আর্কনের মধ্যে যুদ্ধ চালু হয়ে গেছে গাইস।
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
Poisson incident.
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins?
That's correct, which is why I came to... The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
গড়বড় হচ্ছে গাইস, গড়বড় হচ্ছে।
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Furina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, you're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again.
তাই কি ফরিনা, তাই?
Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Furina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder
What's
what's
up
up with
with
her. She was smart.
She was not smiling.
I assume you've been
Agreed.
outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage?
এটাই ব্যাপার গাইস, ডায়লগ বেসিস অফ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং। কিন্তু ফরিনা কোনো কথা বলবে না সেটা নিয়ে, কারণ ওর আর্কনের সুপারফিশিয়াল প্রাইড ওকে আটকাচ্ছে সেটা করতে।
Everyone in her
Yes,
inner circle
চুমনও
has
এসে গেছে
noticed that she
গাইস,
is hiding
তোমরাও
some
শুনতে পেয়ে
secrets.
গেছো।
The issue is her attitude. I fear that she
অনুলোম
will not
বিলোম
reveal
দুর্লভ
anything
হয়েছে।
unless absolutely forced to.
কি?
We may have to create a
বললাম যে
situation in
হনুলোম
which she will
বিলোম
have no
দুর্লভ।
choice but to speak.
সেটাও আর কি
সেই
জিনিস?
তিনজন একই জন, চুমন।
Oh? Like what?
হ্যাঁ, আর কিছু বিশেষণ নেই?
Normally, people
এগুলো
will only
জুড়ে
reveal the truth when
সেগুলো
standing
কেন
trial.
বাকি রেখেছিস?
Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
So guys,
Furina's
Neuvillette
seen so many trials,
হাইড্রো
and she's
আর্কনকে
really good at
ট্রায়ালে
dodging
নামানোর
questions.
ধান্দায়
How
আছে।
to make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she
guys,
gets?
একজন ভগবান।
We will need to
That's-
consider this thoroughly, join forces with various
কি
parties.
বলবো গাইস,
and do
এখানে
what we
তার
can.
ফলোয়াররা তাদের ভগবানকেই
If at all
আসামি
possible, I
দাগি
would prefer
করতে
to
চায়।
recuse myself from this affair, but
ভালো তো।
we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this.
তাহলে এই কেসে গাইস আমাদেরকে তো হেল্প করতেই হবে, কারণ তোমরা
But who
জানো
will lend
আমাদের
us their aid to do such a thing?
কারণ গাইস আমরা আর্কন থেকে শুরু করে ফটুই
Well,
হারবিঞ্জার
that's
সবাইকেই
everyone,
কেলিয়েছি।
huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think
আমাদের
of hiding
তরোয়াল
here.
কারুর সামনে হারে না।
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
রাত
what
আসলে
family
ওকে
should
যা
do.
চা খাইয়েছে,
Sit and
লিনেটার
enjoy a
কোনোদিন
leisurely
চা
time
ছাড়া
together.
কফি ধরবে না, এইটুকু আমার গ্যারান্টি।
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know. Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Then how about you, good sir?
Navia কি দাবি?
I fear that
Oh,
I will cause the mood
Round
on this
table,
boat
guys.
to become as
Neuvillette
somber
nije
as it is in
present.
court.
Chief
Well
Justice
then,
Neuvillette.
I guess we're lucky we've got a local like
party
me
তে
to
বসে
organize
আছি।
things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Guys,
Oh.
Florin
You
কাকে
might be
বাকি
right.
রেখেছে guys?
Anyway,
কাউকে তো
To
মোটামুটি
cut to
বাকি
the
রাখেনি।
chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what
Discuss
that
something
is,
what?
well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh?
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail.
Huh? Didn't...
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
So guys, Chlorand ওর বসের পারমিশন নিয়ে এগিয়ে পড়েছে
In that
আমাদের
case,
মাস্টার প্ল্যান।
do any of you
বোঝাতে।
have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters,
The Mauritius
Though that was
Hunter,
their
যেটার
name,
নামে গাইস আমাদের
they did
একটা
not
গোটা
hunt animals.
আর্টিফ্যাক্ট আছে।
but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in their wake. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device.
Containment device.
Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the prey. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
সেটা ডিপেন্ড
For
করছে
me,
guys,
I
কারোর
would
জন্য।
prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker if I do say so myself.
ঠিক আছে লিনি, নিজেকে
I'm
post
afraid I
করতে
can't
হবে
claim
না।
that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in the water and waiting for the fish to come within reach.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough, animals of the same kind will follow them all the way to the trap.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
ও কাম অন Neuvillette, তুমি হাইড্রো
makes
ড্রাগন
sense.
তোমার হান্টিং এর
You
এক্সপেরিয়েন্স
usually
নেই।
solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, monsieur. If we were to create a trap now,
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
kind as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So, are we going hunting together?
কিন্তু guys, কি হান্ট
We
করতে
hadn't thought
যাচ্ছি?
of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but maybe
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, but we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, being
Oh.
whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so that's
This is neither hunter or prey. There must be a trap. The stage of fate আমরা ক্লেম করতে পেরেছি গাইস। সেই অ্যাচিভমেন্টটা আমাদের এক্ষুনি ঢুকে গেছে। এইবারে আমাদেরকে দিল হচ্ছে go to Spinady Rosula base. এটা হচ্ছে guys আমাদের ফার্স্ট পার্ট অফ দ্য থিং। ফার্স্ট পার্ট অফ দ্য থিং মানে গাইস এটা হচ্ছে আমাদের ফার্স্ট পার্ট অফ হান্টার্স এন্ড প্রফিটস।
it's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little
পাইমন
frightened.
তো গাইস
Well,
সব
friendly
সময়
he was, now that Paimon thinks of... it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all.
আমিও দেখিনি।
Paimon's never seen that couple.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
কে ভাই তুমি?
Who's that voice?
Aw,
মোনা মোনা
have you
লাগছে।
forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby of mine, after all.
কিন্তু বস তুমি কে সেটা বলো।
Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed?
কিন্তু guys,
So you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
তাহলে
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but it also sounds kind of scary.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
play your part
This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
The voice.
Someone seems to be outside.
What?
কে বস?
Paimon hears someone talking. All right, coming. Hey, it's you who's getting...
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more... Not all Fontainians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat with her.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I assume you've heard of her, no? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their
That's right! Paimon's glad you...
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live so long.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now.
The best answer to my question.
Traveler,
Oh, we're fine.
I see.
I
I feel that same sense of desperation too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. But even so, perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how...
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go. It was worth trying to come. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Paimon said... Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
তাহলে চলো গাইস নিউ স্ট্যান্ডেই আমরা চলে যাই। কিন্তু গাইস আমরা কি করে যাব উপরে সেটা কিন্তু টোটালি হ্যাশট্যাগ ভুলে গেছি গাইস। I don't believe guys আমরা পৌঁছাতে পারবো এরকম ভাবে। চলো গাইস আমরা উপর দিয়ে একটু টেলিপোর্ট করেই চলে যাই। এবার আমাদের কাটসিন লোড হয়ে গেল গাইস।
Our names are written in this newspaper. Let Paimon see. The underwater... My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blonde adventurer with their white fairy legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet. The traveler's... Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so said... Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so Paimon will forgive her this time.
তো গাইস আমরা কিন্তু হাঁটতেই থাকবো বাজে রকম।
We're here! Paimon's hungry.
এই
Should
তো
we go
খেয়ে
in and get
বেরোলি
something
ভাই।
to eat?
জাস্ট কিছুক্ষণ আগে পাইমন খেয়ে বেরোলো, কিন্তু পাইমনের আবার খিদে লেগে গেছে। পাইমনকে কেউ চুপ করাও গাইস, পাইমনকে কেউ চুপ করাও।
Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time.
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh,
Sedane.
wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Neuvillette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Oh ho ho. Guys, মেলুজিন একখানা বড় সড়ো জ্ঞান দিয়ে দিল আমাদেরকে
Don't be sad.
দাঁড়িয়ে।
Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please, I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
গাইস বড় সড়ো জ্ঞান দিয়ে গেল, কিন্তু কাজের কথাই বলে
And
গেছে
there she
গাইস।
goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon should... It's more delicious than last time. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food.
হোটেল ডিবোর্ডকে আমরা ডিবোর্ড করে দেব, তারপরে চলে যাব কোথায় সেটা এখানেই গাইস লেখা থাকবে। লেটস সি।
Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
গাইস বুঝতেই পারছো শার্লেটের সাথে মারধর হতে চলেছে।
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some nerve. You just used us to make some quick mora.
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some...
Really?
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
সেটা তো
Oh,
বটে।
Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden?
A friend of ours...
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. She's so young and...
So she mentioned me? What did she said that you're a real dare traveler.
Nice.
Huh? So your article?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography.
Yeah. Are we even?
Why not? Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props. Whew, so much to get done now. Talk.
अरे Charlotte को
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example...
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but if you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist, first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my home. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they do should the... So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. Just think about it. If this nation really were... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
চলো গাইস আমাদেরকে সি এর কাছে যেতে পাইমনি
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't fun... No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you... We've always been moving to the next destination. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
করা যাবে না কারণ we have a purpose.
Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Masquerade.
So the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Dora.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia.
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Neuvillette sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Masquerade. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Furina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her, loudly accusing her of doing nothing. And before she could respond, the crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Furina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment...
So what happened after that is for...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this, and the Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining...
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good. Monsieur Neuvillette sent me to tell you about the situation, but he'd...
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go...
Is that so?
Information পেলেই হলো গাইস আমরা লেগে পড়বো আমাদের কাজে
You two take care. I'll be heading back to the Palais now.
গাইস এইবারে আমাদের
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Furina, she won't. And as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Neuvillette was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard it would be hard for her to ignore being a Paimon thinks Furina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's... Huh! Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. In that case,
তাহলে
there's not a
পাইমন
moment
এখন
to
খুব ভালো
lose.
ডিটেকটিভ হয়ে গেছে
Poisson,
guys.
here we come!
আর হান্টার্স আর প্রফিটস পুরোপুরি খতম গাইজ আমাদের হাতে। এইবারে গাইজ সাব কোয়েস্ট চালু হচ্ছে অ্যাপোক্যালিপস, যেটা গাইজ আমরা কন্টিনিউ করব নেক্সট ভিডিওতে, কারণ আমরা সাব কোয়েস্ট ওয়াইজই এক একটা ভিডিওতে কন্টিনিউ করছি। সো আমাদের হান্টার্স প্রফিটসে একটা অ্যাচিভমেন্ট এসছে, যেটা হচ্ছে দ্য স্টেজ অফ ফেটস, যেটা আমাদেরকে 5টা প্রিমোজেন দিচ্ছে। সো গাইস আপাতত একটা জিনিস হচ্ছে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে একবার চেক করে নেবো প্রিমোজেম কি দিল কি দিল না। তো গাইস 197টা প্রিমোজেম হয়ে গেছে, আর আমাদের হাতেও 57টা ইন্টারটুয়াইন্ড ফেট আছে। সো গাইস একটা কথা কিন্তু আমরা কিছুতেই নড়চড় করব না, সেটা হচ্ছে খুব ভালো কিছু না এলে উই আর নট পুলিং ফর এনি আদার ক্যারেক্টার, সে এমিলি হোক বা ইলান হোক, আমরা পুল করব না যতক্ষণ না পাইরো আর্কন মাবুইকা না আসছে, ততক্ষণ আমরা কিন্তু আমাদের ইন্টারটুয়াইন্ড ফেট জমাতেই থাকবো। তো গাইস আজকে আমরা রাখছি এটুকুই। তোমাদের যদি আইডিয়া থাকে যে ফুরিনা কোথায় গিয়ে বসে আছে, তোমরা কিন্তু কমেন্ট করে জানাতে ভুলো না, আর লাইক করো গাইস, কারণ নিউভিলেট অনেক কাণ্ড কারখানার মধ্যেও আমাদেরকে টাইম দিচ্ছে যাতে আমরা হাইড্রো আর্কনের ক্রাইসিসটাকে মিডিয়েট করতে পারি। সো গাইস সাবস্ক্রাইবটাও করে রেখো, কারণ আমরা নেক্সট ভিডিওতে অ্যাপোক্যালিপস দেখতে চলেছি, মানে অ্যাপোক্যালিপসের যে সাবকোয়েস্টটা আছে আমাদের ম্যাসকারেড অফ দ্য গিল্টিতে, সেটা কন্টিনিউ করব। সো গাইস স্টে সাবস্ক্রাইব, নাহলে নোটিফিকেশন তোমরা পাবে না। আজকে আমরা রাখছি এটুকুই। সো গাইস #বাই।